Welcome to the 2 in 22 Challenge Reinventors. This is your chance to reboot your reinventing process or to begin reinventing your life. Are you ready? How's it going, Reinventors? Happy 2022. I'm Amelia. This is Reinventing You. If this is the first time you've ever watched one of my videos, welcome. This is all about encouraging you to reinvent your life so that you can live a life of joy, fulfillment, and purpose. If you have been a long-time follower or have even subscribed to this channel, I welcome you back. I know you're here because of the 2 in 22 challenge, where every Tuesday from now until 2/22, I will be posting a 20-minute video to encourage you to reboot your reinventing process, to start reinventing, to get going for this year and for your future. I am glad that you are here. We're going to start with your reinventing parameters. Now, a parameter is your scope or your focus. It's a mathematical, statistical, legal term. And we're going to use that word rather than the G word or the R word, goals or resolutions. Those are very tempting to use at the beginning of a new year, but really they don't. At this point, they're not going to help us out because, for one thing, reinventing is sort of an organic process. And if you just said, this is it, what am I actually going to do, just that one thing, a lot of times that will either set you up for failure or you're going to miss things that you really need to do along the way. So I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but we're going to talk about the parameters, what your focus is, what your scope is, sort of where your boundaries are in the process. So first of all, we have to think about what area of your life are you going to reinvent yourself? Is it your career? Is it your relationships? Is it something to do with your health? Maybe it's your space. Where in your life do you want to reinvent yourself? So you got to think first there. And then you have to start asking yourself questions about, I know I want to reinvent my space and my relationships, but you got to pick one. You can't do it over. You can't do more than one thing and be successful. And I kind of discovered that this past year, when we remodeled and moved, I was reinventing my space, but at the same time, my other reinventing things kind of, went to the wayside. And that was partly my fault, but partly the process of reinventing, because I really need to focus on the reinventing my space part. Now, sometimes two areas of reinventing will match up, like perhaps your career and your health or your relationship in your space. Those kinds of things sometimes do match up. But right now, let's think about your parameters in terms of one area where you want to reinvent yourself. In the comments below, state what area of your life you want to reinvent in 2022 or reboot in 2022. Okay, so when you narrow down your area, when you say, okay, I'm reinventing this part, but I want to narrow down, what I'm doing, where I am, you've got to really focus and ask yourself some questions. Like perhaps go back to the example of separating from your partner. Are you beginning physical or legal actions? Are you having to move? So you might have to find a place to live or set a budget or figure out how to afford all the fees and rent or find a lawyer, set up an appointment. If you're trying to get away from toxic friends, like I wrote on the board, do you need to look into new areas of interest or find ways to say no and having constant contact with them? Should you ghost them or can you really ghost them? If you're reinventing your space and your minimalism is your focus for 2022, I don't know if I spelled minimalism right, but anyway, maybe you need to just say, okay, I want to just organize what I have and figure out, where to begin, or, maybe one room or one area, one closet. If you're looking at career change, if you're thinking about retirement, well then how are you going to pay your bills? If you really need a career change, do you need more education? that kind of thing. When I retired early, I had to figure out how we were going to afford to pay our bills with only one income coming into the household. So those are the things that you really have to consider. Once you have narrowed down an area, think about what you want to accomplish in 2 months. Remember, this challenge is for 2 months. Now, that doesn't mean you stop on 222. This is just to get you started. I know there may be an instance where you can reinvent yourself within the 2 months, but probably not. So think about, what can you do in this period of time? Where do you want to have your focus? And if, for instance, you are working on your relationship, say if you want to leave your partner, maybe if there's a divorce involved, well, then you've got to look at, there's so many things. You're not going to get divorced in 2 months, as far as I know. It could be possible, but what you're thinking about, okay, what are the financial implications, the mental implications, the where am I going to live? Are there kids involved? How's this going to affect my career or my job? What are all of these things? So 2 months may just be you trying to figure that out. In the next 2 months, you may say, well, really, I need to focus on my mental health. I need to make sure this is really what I want to do. So maybe I should go see a counselor, not necessarily a marriage counselor, just a counselor for me. Or maybe you say, we need marriage counseling. Whatever that is, you have to say, okay, this is where I want to focus in the next 2 months. Perhaps minimalism is the thing that you're thinking about. And you think, okay, what area of minimalism am I talking about? Not spending money? Am I talking about cleaning out? How far does minimalism go for me? If it's your career, then is this the time to quit? Or maybe you should just be prepared to quit. Maybe you need to get more training. Maybe you need to, ask for a raise. What is this area? So you've got your parameter, and then you need to focus on one part of that parameter. Where are you going to laser in on? For me, it's my channel, Reinventing You, and that's a big area. And there's different things that I could be doing, but what I really want to do is have an online course, because part of my goal in this channel and doing Reinventing You is to encourage others to reinvent their lives. And even though a weekly video is good, sometimes an online class or online course is something that would be helpful for people. Now, I could go ahead and write a curriculum for the class, but I really think I need to start with some basics in terms of creating Reinventing You as a business and not just a channel. And so that's what I need to be working on. That is my focus within that parameter for these next 2 months. Now, for those of us who have been reinventing a while and you just need to restart, you're really going to have to ask some hard questions, like what was working, what wasn't working, what were you doing that you were getting the same results but not really being successful in your reinventing process. That's the other definition of crazy. We don't want to do crazy things. We just want to reinvent our lives. So really just step back. Maybe you were in the middle of something when 2020 started and you just haven't been able to get the momentum to get that back. Was that a good thing for you? Do you need to restart that, or do you need to look somewhere else in your life or in the process that you need to focus on at this time in 2022? Just take some time to kind of reevaluate where you are. If there's something you've been putting off, please comment below what that is. Sometimes just writing it down or seeing it in print will get you going. I want you to be successful, and I don't want you to just write it down. I want you to do it too. So there's going to be more than just thinking about it and committing to it, but there's also actually getting some action. Now for me, all this has been about my career, specifically for this channel, and 2020, 2021, they just kind of went down the tubes for me. I was just not being as productive as I expected to be. And I have to really evaluate what are the things that I was doing well for this channel and for Reinventing You, and what are some things that I need to stop doing. And that's sometimes really hard for me, I don't know about you, is to stop doing because you get comfortable in it. And that's the reason why I got burned out in my career as a pastor in the first place. I was doing the same things. I was getting burned out. It was not working. And so I have to really take some time this week to do that reevaluation for my career and figure out where Reinventing is going and what my next steps should be. Okay, I know this seems like slow going. You're thinking, I just want to get started, and that's the key. You want to get started. So this is where we're beginning. Now, a lot of people think, oh, this is not going to take any time. I'm going to be reinvented before you know it. It's like doing a YouTube video. A lot of people think, oh, well, you're going to be successful within 3 months, 2 months. Look at these people who have 100,000 followers after a year, all those kinds of things. But I guess the underlying thing is, sure, you might get lucky. You might be able to reinvent yourself within 2 months, but really the reality is it's going to take a long time. And in order to be successful in it, you need to take yourself seriously. Now, I recently saw a TED Talk by Julie Nosy. Now, you may not heard of her, and I'm going to mispronounce her name because I can't spell her name right. But anyway, she's the woman the comedian who did the series of videos last year, actually in 2020, I think, where she would talk to her past self. So like 3 months after 2020 started, she had a video, and the person was all worried about the fires in Australia, and she was like, no, that's not what you need to worry about.
Oh, whoa. Who are you?
I'm Julie from 4 Months in the Future.
Actually? Are you here to tell me what's going to happen?
Yeah. I mean, because of the butterfly effect, I can only really give you some loose details, but we'll go through the basics. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So, do you want the good news or the bad news?
Oh, good news?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Great choice. Yeah, cool. So, things have never been better for climate change.
No, that's great.
Dolphins in the Venice canals.
Really?
I know. Well, I mean, I saw it on Facebook. I don't know if it's a real thing. My aunt posted it, but it seems pretty legit.
Okay, well that's incredible. Especially given the Australian wildfires.
The what? Oh yeah.
Because those are pretty. I think those are going to be the defining feature of 2020.
Yeah, you'd think.
And she did a series of videos all through the year, and they called her an overnight sensation. But in her TED Talk, Julie talks about the fact that she was doing this for 6 years before she had the, quote, overnight sensation. And so what she said was she worked hard at her craft for that period of time. She focused on what she was doing on her YouTube channel. She focused on writing. She focused on acting. And that was the reward for her. It was not an overnight success. But what she says, what the key was that helped her, and she actually got this quote from somebody else, but I'm going to give her the credit for it. And what she says is, be brave enough to say it out loud and take yourself seriously. So, say out loud what your parameter is, what your focus is, how you've narrowed it down. And now I want you to take yourself seriously. This is not just a lark. This is not just a 20-minute video to go jump in the lake or whatever. This is something that's going to change your life. So you need to take it seriously. So whatever your dreams are for reinventing yourself, say them out loud right now. Listen to yourself and take yourself seriously. I have a link below if you want to watch Julie's TED Talk video. So say your parameter, focus, narrow it down, take yourself seriously, but you're like, okay, Amelia, that took me 5 minutes. Well, maybe it did take you 5 minutes, but if you're like me, you're going to need some time to let it, simmer or percolate, be in the background, think about it or don't think about it, journal it if that's your thing, talk to somebody about it, just, think about it before you go to sleep at night, maybe you'll dream about it. All of those things, because I'm the kind of person I'm going to say, in the next 2 months I can write all my curriculum and I can set up all my business and I can do this and I can do that and, all this stuff. And then I realized, okay, Amelia, that is not realistic. I mean, I do this all the time. I think, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have all this done. And it just never works that way. I mean, that's the way I am. I have to let it sit for a moment and really let it, just be without jumping in, because I have to say, how realistic is this? I feel like for Reinventing You, I need to set it up as a business. That means an LLC, which I have no idea what that was. That means an LLC, which is a legal license. What is this called? That means an LLC, a limited liability company. And that's something I can do in 2 months. And that's going to make a huge difference in the future. And so that an online course will be able to, be perpetual. It won't just be, a few months, that it can continue on. And so, that's one of my goals. That's my main thing. And so I am hoping that this challenge will help keep you accountable, whatever your parameter is, for reinventing yourself. Whether you're rebooting or reinventing, I want to continue to encourage you and keep you accountable. I want to help reinventors like you continue to change your life and live lives of joy, fulfillment, and purpose. So what questions do you have for me as I am working on my own reinventing process? I may come across some ideas or things to pass along, but you may have some questions that were brought up in today's video, or maybe you're just like, okay, Amelia, I'm chomping at the bit here. I'm ready to get going. Where do you think I should start in this area? Or maybe you have a specific question about the reinventing process, no matter what area of your life that is in, and then I can answer that in upcoming videos. Now, most of the videos that I have for the rest of this time are planned ahead. However, I am flexible. I've learned that as a YouTuber that you have to be. So please, in the comments below, let me know if there are specific questions that you have, or maybe you have things like, hey, I've done an LLC. I can suggest some things that you need to do, or what you need to do before you do an LLC. Those kinds of things would also be helpful. And sometimes if you have a comment or a question, other subscribers and viewers may be able to answer it as well. So in the next video, we're going to get down to specifics. So take the time this week to think about what your parameters are, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great one.